Can you dig it? Welcome to the very 23rd episode of Waterdeep Mallrats, the Dragon Heist. Thank you for joining us on this grey Bank Holiday Monday. I appreciate if you are here on Bank Holiday Monday, those who actually give a toss about Bank Holiday Mondays. We're all self-employed, so Bank Holiday Mondays is a work day. So we're really glad that you are
Bank's
here.
always on a holiday for me.
And Banksy's always on a holiday as well. Banksy's holidays, Banksy's bank holidays are just like the best. Go check them out if you can find them, because they're great. But welcome everyone. As you can see, our wonderful Evie James isn't going to be with us today. They send their absolute love to all of you guys out there in the Twitter sphere, as always. So do give them some love on the chat. I'd love to see something like, "We love you, Evie, you're amazing," on chat or something like that. That would be great. That hopefully it'll be good. I think GP Daz is there going like, "Woo, free day off." Oh yes, Bank Holiday Mallrats from Dad Burman. Yes. Mama Thorpe is here. Hi Mama Thorpe. And of course Heavens Bevins is here, and our good friend Red Panda Gamer 44. Really wonderful to see you. I don't think I've actually been able to actually say hi for a long time, so I'm actually going to say hi, Red Panda Gamer. I miss you very much, and I'm so glad that you're here with us today. Alrighty, so I think we're going to kind of crack straight in. Oh, there is one other thing actually I'd like to say. And this is massive, big love to Lee Scratch Perry, one of my absolute idols, my heroes and my gods. I want to say I hope that you're resting in the greatest of powers, and I hope that you are brilliant wherever you are. You absolute fabulous human being, and you're an absolute legend, and we're going to miss you very, very deeply. So Lee Scratch Perry, big love. Alright, so we'll start today. Looking forward to today. I think it's going to be fun. So I think we're going to find out how our guys are doing today. I think we'll go straight over to where my eye continually is going at the moment because of the electric hot pink. Gabby, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. I wore this out today, and I didn't think I was getting any more looks than I normally do. People didn't seem more confused by me than they normally are, but then against the blue wall, it's quite a lot, isn't it?
I think it's
anyway,
brilliant. I love it. I love the electric pink. It's one of my favourite colours of all time.
Good for you. It'd be more inappropriate for me to take it off, so I'm keeping it on.
Yeah, okay, good. So how you been doing? Of course, you've been really busy this week, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm good, thanks. We've been open Beaver pitch at the Hope Theatre in Islington, London tomorrow. 2 previews, then press night, and then we fly free for like 3.5 weeks. So been busy. So did like a cool 10-11 hour tech rehearsal yesterday, which was super fun, and really enjoying it. I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's so funny. Like it's just so good, and the team is amazing. So really lucky to be working on that. But yeah, just working away, having to learn loads of accents, which is really fun, and then constantly worrying because Northern is obviously so like you can hear it straight away, can't you? So especially when you're supposed to be playing posh people, like posh prime ministers. I'm not going to give away, but I play a prime minister, and I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to say honour not in a posh way.
Right, okay.
But anyway, come and see it, because you'll see me playing Prime Minister. I did workshop maybe them being like, no, well, actually, I'm not going to say that.
Well,
maybe I thought the exit could be them being dragged to hell afterwards, but we decided not to do that.
Right, okay.
So, no spoilers.
No spoilers. Well, I'm wishing you my absolute best with that, and I hope that you enjoy yourself. Really enjoy yourself on that. So it's opening. Is that opening tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wicked.
Exciting.
Lovely. So we've got I think we popped a link in there. Thank you very much, Dan, for doing that. So that'd be great. And we'll pop over and see how actually we can link with the pink over to Mr. Dan Burman. Loving that hat you've got going on, by the way. It's a lovely little pink band across the top here.
Yeah, I needed to get a new hat because I left my last one at Stand and Calling, and then I saw that our lovely friend DJ Bojack has started doing merch. So I've got a little DJ Bojack on there.
Nice.
And then the logo
Oh, yeah.
on there, and
Cool.
then Mindset on there, which is the name of the album.
Nice.
Yeah, really happy with it. It's very high quality, and they've got all the merch. I did obviously look at the vests first, but they had DJ Bojack on both the front and the back, and I was not a fan of that, so I thought, I'd get the hat instead.
Nice. It looks fabulous.
Thanks very much.
And it goes with the purple as well.
Yeah, I thought, I'd do a bit of purple this week just in case, but also it's not warm, Joe. I'm wearing sleeves. I'm not happy about this. It's dark, man. Like, I've literally, if it wasn't for this ring light, look at this.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that looks really backlit. But it's like, it's so dark outside. Oh shit, my webcam's really good. Bollocks. But yeah, I've been good. I had like a whole week on Crooks this week, which has been awesome. I got to do a whole. Not only did I get to do a whole week, but I got to also do a whole week with Simon Pothecary, who I have known since he was about 10 years old, and we've always missed each other in shows. Either I was sort of chaperoning him in a show, or I was fight directing, or like he was involved in a backstage thing, so we've, with the exception of Boomtown, like we've never worked together directly in anything. So this was really fun to be in this project together. Now I need to learn the role where I actually get to fight him, because we've yet to do that as well. We've yet to have like a proper stage fight together. But yeah, that's been really fun. It's been nice to like aim back into creative brain, and hearing applause, hearing rounds of applause and doing bows. Like, that is weird. It's
in
so
an immersive
weird
show.
to hear that back. Yeah. We do a curtain call at the end.
What?
Yeah.
It's new. Not done.
Well, nice.
Yeah,
Glad that you've had a good time this week.
Thanks.
Thanks. We've had less conversations this week than we usually do, which I think is incredible. I feel
like I don't know what you've been doing every day of your life.
very strange. But I'm glad that you're here on Bank Holiday Monday, and I'm glad that you're wearing pink. I'm sad that you're cold. My hands disappeared.
Oh.
It is, yeah.
Oh.
See, I was doing counting.
Oh, I was doing my best counting.
But we'll pop over to our wonderful Mr. Thompson. You're looking fabulous in the black and red. Looking fabulous today. So how are you doing?
Thanks. Good. Well, seeing as we haven't had a lot to talk about in terms of conversation, get ready for the best conversation topic of the week. I have thought of a film that I want to make, and I've told Gabs already. let that her expression say a lot. Okay, so the most hotly anticipated sequel that we've all wanted. Who's the most famous person in the world?
Nemo.
Keep going.
I can't think of anybody's name. It's literally just like nothing's gone.
Well, let me tell you who it is. It's Jesus Christ. Passion of the Christ 2 Double Cross. It's going to be a buddy cop film. Judas and Jesus try and hunt down King Herod. I need to read the Bible more because I'm unsure of a lot of what happens in it. But it writes itself. I'm thinking, instead of Mary Magdalene, it's Mary Glock 15. I want it like, proper like strap, there's like the Hot Fuzz style. They're getting strapped up with loads of guns and shit. I'm just thinking it's gonna be. I've also got the tagline. So when I'm in interviews talking about it, and they're going, Rob, you've recently developed quite a cult following for this. I'm going to say I don't want a cult following. I want a religion. Because it's not based on fiction. It's based on crucifixion. There's going to be a scene in it where, Jesus saves someone and they go, thank you, you're my savior. And he goes, Lord and Savior. Ah, get out! How good is that?
This time it's biblical.
Yes.
Wow.
How good is that?
Right.
Yeah, anyway,
it
so
does sound.
that's-
It sounds pretty good. I mean, I'm in. Take my money. I'm in.
You'd watch it.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
I mean,
sure.
it'd be great if it was double crossed and make it into a heist movie. Just saying.
Well, I mean, I just want it to be action packed, full of fun. You know.
So Mary Magdalene could actually be like M, and we don't get Judi Dench because, you know, but it could be like the person who gives all the guns out. Is that who M is in the other big franchise that we won't mention?
Yeah, kind of sets the missions. Yeah.
There you go. Like the
Yeah.
DM.
Oh, well.
Oh.
Okay. Now we're rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, we've got.
Especially if she's got a shotgun that's inside the mandolin as well.
Oh,
Ah.
That's
Mary
more like Q branch now.
That's it. We're on a roll.
Will it be musical, Rob? Will it be a musical?
I hadn't anticipated it being a musical. But I'm open to pitches. Why? What are you thinking? Where are you going with this?
Okay, cool. I don't know. Just might be nice to have some musical numbers from some of the people.
Yeah, she get Dolly Parton involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see where I'm going here.
Yeah.
So,
Dolly Parton.
so who played Jesus?
Second film idea I have.
Whoa.
I've got a second idea for something as well. But let's stick to the first one. I'm going to play Judas. Judas was famous for having an Irish accent as well.
He was.
Joe
Like
Cullen, I
Julius
think,
Caesar.
is going to be Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But very much like Julius Caesar. But also, Joe, you've got the hair and the beard. You know, you could be a strong contender. I'm going to be auditioning because I'm not. I'm not doing this nepotism shite. Fucking God did it with Jesus, so I'm not gonna be going down that road.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad that you're okay.
Yeah, good. Idea number two. Hit you with idea number two, okay? Second film. It's got nothing to do with the Bible. However, what I do want to make is a gritty crime drama that's based around the Italian gelato mafia. I sit here looking out on my balcony, and I see the ice cream man in his truck, and I think there must be turfs that only some of them are allowed to go onto. And then I wondered, is there a seedy crime underbelly here, where there's a criminal organization fighting for ice cream truck turf? And I think, how great would it be to have a gritty crime drama based around a ludicrous thing like gelato or ice cream?
Well, you can do it. You can call it Fleck 99, and you can have 99 different ice cream vendors
Well, I was thinking of there's
for like a new turf.
You're gonna go see Jake the Flake, or you're gonna go see Screwball. He's a bit nuts, all these kind of things.
I love that these.
The pistachio.
The thing is, it's like in my head, they're like English ice cream trucks, so having them with like New York accents is brilliant.
I know.
It's genius.
I'm thinking of they meet a French character whose name is Monsieur Whippy. It writes itself, just like Passion of the Christ 2 Double Cross. Anyway, that's how I am. I have been overwhelmed by ideas for two things that I hope to one day make.
Oh, Heavens Bevins is saying that the Glasgow ice cream wars was a real thing that happened in the 80s.
There you go.
Based on a true story.
I mean, that would be even funnier if it was all Italian names with all Glaswegian accents.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Take my money. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
here for it.
Right. That's what we're actually, never mind what Dan and Joe have told you, what we're trying to get follower goals for and subscriber goals is to fund my big movie projects. We're going to need a couple mil in the bank, so any donations would be greatly appreciated. Anything 10 grand and upwards, I'll send you a personal video of me giving you a thumbs up.
There you go. There's an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah, one of a kind until there's another one.
do my bit for society, you know? Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Or we have who is it? Red Panda Gamer saying they just want to watch you pitch movies for 2 hours. So maybe that's another. we can add that to the stream. Just Rob's movie pitches coming on Thursdays.
I want to do a film about, old age, but I want to do it from the perspective of a ripe banana, as it grows old and stringy and then withers and dies, That's more of like an artsy film.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll call it Ripe Old Age,
Ooh. I'd save something for Sundance, I'd say.
Will it say Finn at the end, like the last thing?
I think so, yeah.
It'll say bin. Nana.
Yeah, bin. Oh, bin. No. Yeah, great.
Well,
Love it.
It's been good, guys.
Good. Well, yeah, just so you guys are aware, I'm fine. Thank you very much for asking.
I was going to ask, but I got so confused by what's just happened. Feels like a fever dream.
Yeah,
I feel like I've had my second vax again.
Well, even though our wonderful Fortnite queen Evie James isn't here, I have fallen into the Fortnite hole.
No!
In a big way. Yeah. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
You love it now.
I am a big fan. It's one of those things that I honestly thought to myself, I'll never get into Fortnite.
No. All the kids play it.
All the kids play Fortnite. But I quite like running around and seeing nobody for like 15 minutes and then being shot out of nowhere. Like I'm quite a fan of that. That's quite nice, running around a big island, panicking when you hear somebody shooting and then running away. Like this is the perfect game for me.
All right. Run and hide.
Run and hide. I love it. So that's been quite fun.
Anxiety simulator.
Yeah. It literally is just pure nervousness all the time. But the thing is like looking at other battle royale sort of mechanic games. It's like I think my housemate Josh was playing Call of Duty, and I was like, this is so stressful. Like I've never seen something so stressful in my entire life. Like it's just literally you're just moving all the time. Whereas Fortnite, it's like, I got my backpack on, and it looks like a teddy bear, and then I jump in the air, and I have this little glider that looks cool, and my guns are pink. Like so much.
I can build a house.
I can build a house.
And then there's a dance you do. There's a dance. Or something.
You can do little dances. You can like turn yourself into a cow. And then jump around. Like it's great. Like I had so much fun. So I really enjoyed myself with it. So I'm going to carry on with that, I think, because I think that's going to be good fun. Other than that, I've just been continuing my house search in Brighton. Fingers crossed. I've got a couple of viewings tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But we've also been really, really busy back in scenes and back in Sabotage HQ. I'll go with that. Sabotage the HQ, which is really bad because we all turn up for meetings and just blow it up. But the Sabotage HQ, we've been working...
Give each other wrong times and addresses.
Exactly, just to kind of screw each other over.
That's Robbie.
Because this time next week, we won't be returning for a Waterdeep Mallrats Dragon Heist. Ooh, no. Instead, we have something else on. So we're going to throw a little VT now and see if you can... see what we're getting at for next week, and I hope you enjoy it. We'll be back in a couple of seconds' time. Ooh. Ooh, that's right. The Mallrats are going to the arena. Gonna fight to the death against the Purple Warp. So the Purple Warp. So it's gonna be really, really fun. Come and join us for a bit of Total Party knockout action next week, right here on Sabotage CM at 7:00 on Monday, the 6th of September. I believe. Mr. Burman, I think you're going to be playing our monster that week. Is that right?
Is that the purple guy?
Yeah, you'll be playing the purple guy.
The purple guy doing the purple worm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, really
Can you
excited.
do the worm?
Only the purple one. But you'll have to wait until after we have the battle where you see what that ability includes.
I'm excited.
It's unexpected.
So
It's
obviously,
wholly unexpected.
so obviously Dan, as being the only successful DM at TPK so far, for killing those players last week with the Beholder. How do you feel about that, Dan? Do you feel good?
I do feel good. Yeah. I had such a swathe of emotions throughout of it. Like I started off being like, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna kill him. This is gonna happen. I'm gonna kill him. And then all of a sudden, this epic set of stories came about from it. And what we thought was going to be a really short one, then got really extended. There was some amazing moments that they banished the Beholder at one point. So then like did loads of prep and things like this. And I actually got really invested in wanting them to win. I was like, oh no, this isn't my job. This is the opposite of my job. But yeah, it was really, really, really good fun. That's why I wanted to come back and do another one. So this time I'm gonna kill all of you.
You're dead, Dan.
Am I?
Yep. Isn't that right, Rob?
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Gabby? He's dead.
Yeah.
He's totally dead.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
If Joe hasn't managed to kill me yet, then you've got no hope, punk.
But no, I also know that I'm really looking forward to getting on TPK and not getting a go. I know this is going to happen because I think you're gunning for me. I think some other DMs in the pipeline are also gunning for me. So I'm hoping I can get through my entire TPK career without actually having a go. I think I will quite enjoy. Yeah, every single time gets killed off. So that would be quite fun. So keep your eyes out open on the socials because we will be revealing sort of characters and different concepts and things like that throughout the week. But we are moving forward in the future, so keep your eyes open. Sometimes things will turn up at the end when you're not expecting them. So you keep your eyes open for future things in the pipeline, which I'm incredibly excited about. I think it's going to be really good
Wait
fun.
for the post-credit scene. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Alrighty. So, I think we're going to get into this and play some D&D. How does that sound, guys? Yes, okay. Before we do that, though, however, last week we took our poll, and of course the numbers came in for a particular style from Mr. Rob Thompson. What was that style, Mr. Thompson?
It was 90s boy band, is what it was.
Hard.
I remember now.
This will require some group participation.
Oh shit!
Not much.
You're gonna tell me
just
why.
a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna get into character now. Thank you, Waterdeep. Thank you. Greatest city in the world. You are the greatest fans. Let me see those hands. Yeah, let me see those. Yes. Yeah. Put your hands in the air. Yeah. Put your hands in the air. We've got you surrounded. You know, I've been thinking about all the things we did last night. And now we find all of ourselves being accused of a crime. They say that 32 bodies were found in the lobby, and they want to speak to me. And they said Baggi, said Oshi, went full on karate and killed almost 33. If you want to lock me up, don't sweat it. Closing the door and losing the key. Better not ask me if I regret it. You can blame it all on me. If you got a question, I'll say no comment. But if the body count is too high, then you better read my rights, 'cause I know I'll go away for a long time. They've tried painting us all as the real villains. They say that we're evil, and none of us have spent any time reading up on the code legal.
Yes, mate.
Cause the Zentarum were fussing, Xanathars and Luskins all drowned in a pool of blood. And Lady Growhunt was threatened by big men with weapons, and she might think it was us. If you wanna lock me up, don't sweat it. Closing the door and losing the key. Better not ask me if I regret it. You can blame it all on me. If you got a question, I'll say no comment. But if the body count is too high, then you better read my rights, cause I know I'll go away for a long time. If you wanna lock me up, don't sweat it. Close the door, losing the key. Better not ask me if I regret it. You can blame it all on me. If you got a question, I'll say no comment. But if the body count gets too high, then you better read my rights, cause I know I'll go, cause I know I'll go, cause I know I'll go away for a long time.
Ah!
Oh my word! I am absolutely blown away. That was incredible. We're getting loads of new followers and subs here. Thank you very much, Dark Hour 84, for that. I'm glad you turned up at the right time. That was absolutely epic and incredible, as GP Daz and Ben also talk about as well. That was amazing. I just, no. I don't think we should do these anymore, because that is the best I've ever seen, and I don't think I could ever top it.
I would have that on my Spotify. That sounds like half of my Spotify. That was so bang on as a 90s boy band track. I was actually genuinely trying to consider whether it was a cover or like a parody. I was like, do I know this song already?
I was trying to go a bit of Blue influence on that.
I see.
Yeah.
See, in my mind, I wasn't going boy band. I was into En Vogue. Like that was En Vogue in my head, and I could just imagine it. I could imagine all four of those voices.
Thank you. You threw in the key change there as well. Had to go
the
key
key
change.
change, mate! Like incredible.
Thank you very much. Thanks,
Yes.
gang.
Yeah.
Thank
So last week was an interesting episode. As we had the four of them placed in questioning, split apart, separated, divided. Like it's stuck in my head. It's going to be there for the rest of the day. As they were asked questions about what happened at the Growland Villa, eventually having Oshi and Baggi both arrested and charged with murder, only to be saved at the last second. Swooped in by agents all in black to take them away over to Castle Waterdeep to meet up with a particular person. So I think we're going to go straight there. So let's start with our wonderful... why do I always forget the name of these things? Montage. There we go. One day I'll get this all right and it'll be great. Okay, so... You see two guards dressed resplendently as they're standing on a great windy drawbridge or road that leads up to the great castle of Waterdeep. Two of them have been standing there for 6 hours, not moving. Their furry hats like flowing in the wind. As they see the dust sort of starting to come up the windy driveway. And suddenly this black cart flies past them and in through the gates. Cut to.
We see Pups next to his shrine in the den. He's calmly meditating. We shoot into his mind and in his thoughts. He's alone in his room. Longvines. Sorry, Joe. Can you make that a little bit quieter? Sorry, man.
A little bit more vocal, a little less vocal on the.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh no, is this oh no, he's stopped.
What happened there?
All right, there you're back. Okay, you're back. Okay, so
I love it.
What happened there?
alrighty, so let's 2 guards standing outside the great castle of Waterdeep. They've been standing there for 6 hours, needing a wee, needing a cigarette, needing a beer or a sandwich. And suddenly they see the dust fly between as they see this black cart becoming up along the windy road towards the castle Waterdeep as it flies past them. Cut to.
We see Pups next to his shrine in the den. He is calmly meditating. We shoot into his mind and into his thoughts. He's alone in a room. Long vines and branches sprawl across the walls, roots delving into the ground. As he takes in his surroundings, he is attacked by an unknown assailant wearing a raven mask. What starts as an evenly matched bout quickly descends into a one-sided affair, with Pups having to switch his whole focus on blocking the inbound attacks of the combatant. Nearing exhaustion and the wall, Pups misses a block and is clipped over his brow and staggers back. His silent enemy rears up for the final blow and connects flush into the chest. But Pups feels no pain, only the restorative energy of mercy as the wound over his eye closes up. The fighter steps back, removes the raven mask to reveal the monk from the Grauhan villa. You fight well, but you have much to learn. I'll be seeing you again for more training. We hear a crash as Pups snaps open his eyes, breaking his meditation to see the city watch burst through his door. Cut to.
Big Phatts and the Black Star 4. Welcome to Waterdeep Palace. The words echoed through his hearing vents. A grin began spreading across his face as he allowed for a few moments for his mind to wander to a vision of the future. A brighter, more respectful future where plaques and awards adorned every wall of Trollskull Manor, each one denoting Phatts' success as not only a business bot, but also the shiniest and most handsome warforged in Waterdeep. A knock would arrive at his bedroom door, which when opened would reveal Pups, wearing a crisp tuxedo and starch white gloves on each hands. "Mr. Phatts," he would say. "Mr. Phatts, the kitchen is clean now, should you like to inspect it." "Thanks, shortstop. I'll go down now." "As you wish. And may I just say you are looking positively luminous today, sir," Pups would say. The two would saunter down the stairs, past the stuffed head of Oshisota hanging amongst the rest of his enemies, and would soon find themselves in the kitchen. "I've assembled some new cutlery for you, sir," a well-dressed and oil-free Baggi would say, presenting a sparkling whisk to him. "Thank you, Baggi. Nice to see the two of you have brought some order to this place. I shall consider giving you both a slight raise if you keep up the good work." Work. We have a lot to discuss. Realizing that he had drifted off, he found himself back in the room and thinking, "Keep dreaming, Phatts. Keep dreaming." Cut to.
On all fours, with her hands under her bed, Oshi finds what she needs and begins to drag a huge roll of paper out. Fastened with an old leather belt, she lugs the roll onto her shoulder and towards the farthest wall in her room. A nail sticks out of the wall about 7 feet up. Luckily, she's tall enough to reach it. She slips the small reinforced hole at the top of the paper roll over the nail and undoes the belt, allowing the paper to fall to the ground. Breathing a sigh of relief, she picks up her bow and her practice arrows, walking to the opposite side of her room. She draws her bow and releases an arrow, listening as it whistles through the air. The camera follows the arrow, showing a close-up on the yellowish parchment. As it zooms out, panning backwards to where Oshi has stood, a huge, life-size picture of Big Phatts is revealed, with many puncture holes in and around the head and the crotch area. The camera cuts to Oshi cracking her first smile of the day. The best gold I've ever spent. Cut to.
We see an old wooden bar rusty and this like saw-covered floor, as we see a detective, or an ex-detective, standing at the bar. He's there drinking over the whiskey and a big bottle of whiskey next to him as he drinks away. And one patron turns to him and says, "Are you drinking quite a lot for a Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock?" So, I just got fired. Takes a drink. "Ah, where from?" "The city guard." "Oh. It's interesting, detective. Because we put you there on a purpose. We wanted you to be useful for us." As he turns and looks over, as he sees that the person he's talking to is covered head to toe in eye tattoos. "Now, you're useless to us." As a bag is suddenly placed over his head, he's dragged out of the bar, kicking and screaming as he's thrown into the back of a cart. 2 hours later, a boat goes out into the docks. As we see them with a big, heavy bag. As they just turn, empty the sack, as feet, arms, fingers, legs, torsos, teeth, but not the eyes, fall into the water. As we see the items fall down, lower towards the silt of the port itself, we go down through the silt until we're into the sewers itself. Past those until we're in front of a giant, ancient door that we flow through like ghosts, until we come to a room filled with hundreds and thousands of dragons.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Mr. Phatts, are you still with us?
Yes, my liege.
Lord is fine.
Lord, sorry. It's been a rough day.
As you look around, this is like a large circle balcony that kind of circles around you. As the 4 of you are stood in the centre chamber, the ceilings are at least 40 to 50 feet high, with gargoyles and spikes and long details that are kind of placed into the ceiling. The floor itself is no longer carpeted but moved into polished marble. As you see the 12 doors around you, which would be the masked lords' entrances into this central chamber, a decision-making chamber, a council chamber. And sitting on this great resplendent throne is the one lord that has their face open to the public. The one that is chosen to represent the governance of this fair city, and a lot of influence within the Lord's Alliance itself. There, sitting on the throne, is a older female, Lariel Silvermane. There with a silver crown upon their head. As they look down at you all. "Yes, I'm often have some people that lose themselves in my graciousness."
It is quite an honor, may I say, Lord Silvermane, to be in your presence.
Indeed. I suppose you're wondering why you're here. At all, in fact.
Yes. Things have happened pretty fast in the last 24 hours. If perhaps you could shed some light on that, I would be mighty obliged.
Yeah, of course. You have to remember that your actions have actually expedited many things in the last 24 hours. For one, she looks around. She claps. As you see these other doors, these hidden areas around, always in the shadows, as these little doors open and these shadows disappear of the servants all move away from the council chamber. You have brought something into the light, into the public, that has deemed uncivilized and sitting in the underworld, and yet you four have brought it out. Luckily, we've been able to quiet the papers, but the investigations and the rather large numbers of dead have brought this forward, this great enigma. Now, would you like to enlighten me about some of these topics of discussion, or clues, as it comes to the enigma itself? She looks over at all four of you, kind of stood.
Pups looks in the direction of Baggi, who is uncharacteristically silent in moments such as this, and turns back and says, we're still really figuring it out for ourselves, but it's something to do with a lot of money.
Ooh.
A lot of money.
Quite. A lot of money that has been stolen.
Yeah.
From?
The city.
The city. The good people of Waterdeep.
Well, anything we can do to help.
Now that you are offering. And she sort of like stands up slightly and sort of moves her gowns. I would like that money back, quite frankly.
Forgive me, but what would you like it for?
To return it to the city. It was stolen from the city. It should be returned to the city. Stolen by my predecessor. As she sort of takes an eye across, you see there's this like grand painting of this gentleman. Looks very similar to Rayner, except that he has a really long beard and a very stern hand. And you can actually see underneath there's like a writing on there, and it's it says on there the Open Lord Neverember, and then it has brackets, dishonorably discharged. Brackets. Now,
And
oh, sorry, I was speaking.
no, please, my lord, continue.
I would like it returned, but I also understand that there are certain players within this enigma. What are those players?
We have reason to believe that the Zentarum, the Xanathars, and quite possibly the
And
Luskan.
then she brings her hand up. She brings her hands together. And then puts her arms out as this blue light kind of circles around the room. Continue.
That's a fancy trick you got there. Pardon, the Xanathars, the Zentarum, and possibly the Luskans as well.
Mm-hmm. Any others?
Cassalanters.
There we are. That's the name I was looking for.
Yeah, they're Cassalanters. That's right.
Luckily, the Luskans have been removed from the Enigma, the Great Game. They we revoked their license for the carnival, and they simply left last night after your little and he kind of looks over at Oshi. Little party at the villa. So, the Cassalanters are a small thorn in my side, to be honest. And it would be mutually beneficial if they should disappear.
May I ask, if we were to do this for you, would we be excluded from any of the laws that may require us to rid Waterdeep of the Cassalanters?
Not quite. You won't be put to death. Instead, you will be sent on exile.
I see.
But we'll give you 160,000 gold pieces of the stash you return.
We're in. Sorry.
Each.
Excuse me?
Is it 160,000 gold pieces each?
No. She sort of stares at you. I'm going to roll an intimidation check with her eyes. She doesn't say anything. Actually, I want to see it. I actually do have her stats. Silverhand. My apologies, I'm using her name incorrectly. Alright. Let's just do a straight charisma. Let's see what comes up. Ooh, 15. Do you want to roll a wisdom save to that?
Yeah, why not?
Ooh, 14. As she kind of, her eyes sort of like dig through you. Burn through. No. 160,000. The four of you. You shall not be executed for killing a lord. Instead, you shall be exiled from the city.
Pardon my acquaintance's intrusion. 160,000 is incredibly generous. Thank you.
You want them dead?
Yes. But I have a few conditions on it. You see, it would be rather difficult for the lords to be seen to be using the population's children for their own aims and own ends. I would like that particular scandal to die with them. And I am also aware that you are all personally involved in this. This is a very difficult ask for a lord to make. But it would destabilize the status quo.
What's in it for you?
The removal of the Cassalanters. They are far too powerful and must be removed.
Removed or
their kids?
killed?
The children should be taken in by the city itself, and I will take them in personally as my wards.
Our interests are aligned, yet slightly different. We can remove the Cassalanters. They might not be dead, but we can assure you they will not be seen again.
Presumed dead?
If that's enough for you.
It may also be enough for the law as well. These terms seem amenable to you? All of you? Would you like a moment to discuss?
Yes, please.
And she sort of like flicks her fingers and like this table appears in front of you with wine and food and different things upon it. I shall retire to my restroom to powder my nose. And she kind of gets up and sort of almost glides out, leaving you in this grand hall. There's this like blue wave of light that's going around you. Baggi kind of looks up at the wave itself. And should I roll for Baggi? Yeah, I'm gonna roll for Baggi. She looks up at the wave, the blue light. Sorry, everybody. I'm just getting character sheets up. Arcana. There we go. I take the 9 as good enough. She can see that. I think she'll piece together two things. One, there is some sort of magical field that's inside the room, and secondly, this is a very sensitive topic to be talking about. So she lets you guys know that it's essentially an anti-seeing device or a field that stops anybody from listening. Quite similar, but not the same, to the 99 Bells pub that you were into when you went into the demi-plane. This is sort of protecting it in a different way. As you're left on the table together.
What do we think?
We're taking the job.
What do you think, Oshi?
40k isn't very much money to do all this and lose our home.
How much money you got right now?
I don't think that's any of your business. Within a
How
family.
much money have you earned over your lifetime?
Again, that's not any of your business.
Is it anywhere close to 40,000? I could put money on it not being there. Otherwise, you wouldn't have stayed on Black Star as long as you did.
We have a home and a business and a horse, I would like to remind you, and your little nimble right friend to think about as well, and little Ritz. I'm surprised you're being so selfish.
We have 4 walls, a business that is not open, and we need a lot of money coming in. I don't see too many other prospects coming our way, but a job with the Open Lord and a possible stamp of approval. We wouldn't even be able to shut that business. We'd have so many customers.
How many people have you had to get rid of, Big Phatts?
How do you mean? Staff or lives?
How many people have you made to have disappear? What we're about to agree to do to the Cassalanters?
Too many to count.
Fine.
I have not done it as cloak and dagger as we are being asked. But I've put an axe in someone's skull before.
Right, so we're sending them down, are we, I guess? Getting Tunk back?
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Now, it seems like all of our thoughts are aligned with this and that we're all on the same side, but Phatts, you've got to stop making decisions for all of us before you start consulting us.
You get one shot standing in front of the Open Lord. You realize that?
Yeah,
No, we
I'm
have-
surprised we could hear your voice considering how far up your ass you were.
Seeing as she thinks that it's Big Phatts in the Black Star 4, she's probably trying to uphold that standard. What she doesn't want is 4 people with no sign of organization. So we better get straight now so that we don't give the wrong impression.
Organization doesn't require dictation. We're a group. We're a 4. We're a family. We don't
How long
answer
do
to
we have? How long do we have in that carriage journey to talk about what was going to happen? What are we supposed to do? Just stand here and go, "Oh, sorry, Open Lord. We're fucking shaking in our boots. You're asking us to get rid of one of the biggest families in Waterdeep, and we're too nervous. We're too nervous. We need to talk about it."
Is that not what we're just doing? Did she not offer us a few minutes to talk about it?
With
Like
food and
civilized
wine.
folk?
After we made a good introduction.
Baggi pipes in here, and she's like, whoa, let's not all attack on one person. Yeah, Big Phatts, you can't talk for the group. But also, him saying so gave us this moment. Now, she's obviously a very powerful mage of some kind. You talked about we can get out of the city and then we can go find Tunk. Maybe she can tell us how we get down there in the first place. She's got a whole city at her disposal. The resources are insane. Maybe they find out how to get down there. And she kind of stops for a moment. Down into hell.
You think we add it to our deal?
She'll take off the removal of the scandal. I want justice.
Yeah. It's not right that they... Go on.
No, you go.
It's not right that they just, even in death or whatever it is that we do to them, it's not right that doesn't... Those kids, all those families, that is a story that needs to be told. Can't just sweep that under the carpet.
Just so you're aware, all three of y'all, things aren't right in this life, and that conclusion may not be the one that comes to light. While the Cassalanters doing wrong, it could reflect on the Open Lord as well, and maybe something that she wants to quash.
We are still needed, otherwise we wouldn't be here. I think we've got some room for negotiation.
Sure. But as long as we may be needed for now, I'm sure there are 4 other people who are willing to do this for less money.
But
Let's not get too big for our boots.
As Baggi then says, but not any that have the stone. We have a hand. We have a card in our up our sleeve that makes us valuable.
Makes us vulnerable.
But with the Open Lord's protection, maybe we'll be able to get through this a little easier.
Or we could keep playing, take all the money and do the Cassalanters ourselves.
There's this huge grin sort of like goes across the face as you just take a blueberry.
I think, as much as I would love to do that, this is our chance. The Cassalanters were out of sight yesterday, and now they're practically on our doorstep, and we've got support of the Open Lord. We could get in, we could get out, we could save Tunk and walk away out of this city with a giant chunk of change, start a new life somewhere. I can't even imagine what 140,000, 160,000 gold looks like. But beyond all that, it's Tunk. We could do this now. We could do this soon. Not worry and look over our shoulders as to whether someone's going to get to us first. Someone's going to pick us off one by one, and then maybe there's another person we have to go down there and save. This is our chance. I'm in.
I want to be anonymous.
Okay.
We are going to need supplies and some sort of financial backing.
Your best friend.
Get us into-
Won't she give it to us?
My best friend. Oh, you mean the Open Lord? Well, we seem to have built some sort of a rapport. I was going to suggest that out of that 160, we get 20k deposit to make sure we can get ourselves into good nick if we're going to go and do this.
She can give us an extra 20k to buy supplies with. It only becomes 35k each.
I would suggest we do not try and ask for too much.
Oh, you love authority. Well, fine. Mine stays at 40k. Yours can be 30.
I don't think it's out of the question that we ask for some support to start with. This is a big job. This requires planning, prep, support, supplies. We can't just go in with nothing, and she knows that. So she's probably got stuff in a room in this house that hasn't been touched in 20 years that would improve our situation immeasurably. And for her, what, it'll be a tax write-off.
We ask her for some assistance. Anything she can offer us means we can do our jobs better. But we're all agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Baggi says yep.
Yep.
So you hear this clunk as these like great doors open. As she sort of flows in and sits down. So, have you had time to discuss Oshisota?
We have, thank you.
And what is your decision?
We would like to accept your offer, but we do have some conditions.
Go ahead and I shall consider them.
We would like support and assistance in being adequately supplied and prepared for this mission. We would like...
What does that support look like?
Some will be tangible assets, potentially weapons, items, anything, knowledge, access to your libraries, research.
Asking quite a lot. It's very open-ended. It feels as if you want me to write you a blank check.
Absolutely not, but as you understand, this is a very large job to get rid of a very large problem.
Simply specific.
Then we would like access to your library on how to best bring down the Cassalanters. We also have some dealings around some of their worshippings that we would like to research. If you can outfit us with better weapons and armaments, that would be a bonus. Supplies, base supplies, rations, that would be great. Does that sound more agreeable?
I can allow my researchers to help you look at their, I believe that they are devil worshippers.
Yes.
We have done quite a lot of research on Asmodeus. and their cult. I'm happy to pass on such information. In
That
terms
would be much appreciated.
of dealings in terms of weapons and such, of course. Of course, I would have to ask for some sort of budget line. Again, this feels like very much an open check, a blank check.
Of course, we wouldn't be expecting you to act as our patron exclusively and without limits. We know you must. Even the lords have a budget to keep, I would imagine.
The city itself is already a deficit of 500,000 gold pieces.
If I may, there is one more thing. This can't be brushed under the carpet. What the Cassalanters are doing to the children have done to the children. That story needs to be told. The families, the ancestors, the children. It deserves to be out in the open, and it does not deserve to die with them.
See, there, unfortunately, we do come a little separated in our thoughts. It cannot come to light. Not through your actions, anyway. It's important that the relationship between the lords, the governing parties, and the population of this city is not disturbed too much. I'm not saying that
We understand, Lord Silverhand.
Do you understand what I'm speaking?
Sorry, pardon me.
I accept your apology. She sort of like slows for a second, takes a pause.
Pups just looks over at Phatts.
You have to understand, after you have removed the Cassalanters and have left this city, we have to govern it. There will be riots in the streets.
Of course, Lord Silverhand. The relationships between families must be held in good public esteem.
Good.
If I may.
Of course, Oshisota.
How long have you been aware of the unfortunate dealings which the Cassalanters have found themselves in?
Only in terms of the Institute. Only the last 2 years.
And moving forward, I'm sure we will agree, sitting at this table, that what happened was, and is happening, is atrocious. And so what steps moving forward as the Lord of the City, what things will we put in place to prevent this ever happening again?
The school is already being shut down. They revoked their license. However, we have not shown the reasons for that revocation. They will no longer be allowed to hold anything to do with charity or to help any other organisation. And internally, here at the palace, the powers of the Cassalanters have already been slightly diminished.
And investigations into any other powerful families?
And this is the exact reason that this particular subject must stay quiet.
But it must be promised something like this can never happen again.
Miss Sota. And she kind of stands up and starts walking down the steps towards you. You are not that naive. Please tell me you're not that naive.
to believe
that something like this would never happen again.
I
There
believe
is no good or bad in this world. There is simply those who rule and those below. And the order must be kept.
and those who rule should have the best interests at their heart,
And yes, they should.
not manipulation and abuse.
That is true.
Prevention is better.
Very true. I can give you my assurances. And she pops a ring off her finger and places it towards you. And she drops as you put your hand out. Or...
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And she drops it into your hand. And she says, I shall promise you that within my reign as the Open Lord, that I will do everything in my power to ensure it does not happen again. Past my reign, I cannot give any promises.
Thank you. I guess I'll just have to be saved from jail again and meet the next Open Lord.
You know, I would rather prefer it, Miss Sota, if you didn't roll your eyes in my presence. At the moment, it is Mr. Pups who has been able to hold themselves inside of this court. I would expect more from someone who has been a ward of the Cassalanters yourself.
You'd expect more?
Yes.
Could you fucking ring it in? He whispers across.
Expect more in what way, my lord?
Politeness.
I'm sorry. You're right. I was brought up better than the way I've behaved. For the first 8 years of my life, I was in a loving home, so I could understand.
I wouldn't call it loving, but I didn't grow up in a loving environment either.
Well, there was a difference between growing up with my grandparents and growing up on the streets, having to do a lot of things to make ends meet for my chosen family.
I didn't realise the Cassalanters were your grandparents.
I only lived with the Cassalanters for a year.
Ah, I see. Interesting. She sort of begins to kind of turn her back towards you and walk up and sit on her throne. Is there any other things you would like to add to this deal?
Yes, I want to be anonymous, please.
Anonymous how?
I don't want my name given to any of the press or be part of any PR that will come out of this.
You will be charged formally. We can give you all different names if you wish, in terms of that court dealing, so you all become anonymous. I also understand that you have a business in the North Ward.
That's correct, my lord.
I will see to it that a number of lords are attending your opening.
That is very kind of you, thank you.
Good. You seem to have a very keen interest in Asmodeus. For what reason?
Weakness.
I have not really heard Asmodeus described as weakness.
You don't worship him.
I do not. Luckily.
Yes, but the Cassalanters do, and if there's anything we can use to exploit that and gain any advantage possible, then that's going to be very, very beneficial to us. And if you have a deep well of knowledge through your research, it would be greatly appreciated if we could find out everything that we could.
Oh yes, I shall give you access to the records of the cult of Asmodeus. But the other information about Asmodeus is very dangerous to anyone who reads it. A lot of it is locked up. Some of the readers themselves become mad and inflamed in anger and rage. But of the cult, we can share the knowledge. Unless you're interested in other devilish things.
He has our friend.
Excuse me? He has your friend? What did they do to be taken by the devil, by Asmodeus themselves? They must have done something terrible.
It was the Cassalanters.
How did the Cassalanters take their soul?
They gave him.
She's gonna check you out on that. Because she's slightly confused, so she's gonna try and have a look.
I'm going to give you disadvantage on that, Joe.
And I'm gonna use my advantage to cancel that. Okay. She rolls a 27 on her
Out of
insight. The advantage was also a crit, so and she looks at you and she says, I can help, but you must be honest. Why is his soul with Asmodeus?
It's my fault.
Ah. I see.
I made a deal with Asmodeus when I was 9 years old. I did it to save and protect the life of my friends. And one of my friends passed away, and now I have reason to believe that they are with Asmodeus in servitude.
I see. There are ways down there. I'll add it as a bonus. If you complete it, I will let you know where you can go to find your way to the depths of the hells.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, this rearming. Do you have a figure?
20,000?
18.
Mm. 19,500.
I'll give you 20,000 up front, but I take 5,000. I take 25,000 off of your reward.
Okay, 18.
Good.
Including lunches.
This lunch.
And any other that we work in your library. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank
Any
you.
who enter the castle would be fed, regardless. Very well. Any future criminality, I may not be able to help you again. If you find yourself in trouble with the city guard once more, I may not be able to retrieve you from such places. But your last charges have been removed.
I hope you can understand that the reason behind our last criminal charges pertained to this enigma and ultimately the downfall of the Cassalanters, but at the moment we are fighting for scraps of information, and that gets us on the wrong side of the law often. If there is any advice, information, intelligence you can give to us on where to get started, maybe skip a few steps, we could possibly get this completed for you sooner.
There is a certain beholder who lives underneath the city. Another thorn in my side. Far too clever, far too devious, and far too paranoid for me to find. However, we have found the entranceway towards their lair. I will have my agents deliver it to your mansion.
Thank you.
For Skullport is a difficult place to find.
Skullport. Thank you. And you believe this beholder will have information pertaining to the Cassalanters?
With any luck, he will not even speak to Xanathar, but instead search their lair for an object that may be able to help you in the long journey to recovering the gold for the city of Waterdeep.
Thank you.
I will also order a crackdown against the Zentarum and the Xanathar network. Maybe that can slow them down slightly. The second that's either Manchun or Xanathar raise their heads inside this city and hurt any of the population, I may have to reconsider that particular strategy.
Manchun.
Yes. He has returned.
I don't know if I know that name.
I'm sure any search in any common library you should be able to find information on that particular person. I'm not here to tell you everything.
Of course. I
Now,
appreciate all of the help that you've given and your understanding.
when is your opening of your tavern? She sort of like scrambles for like a term.
Give or take about 2 weeks.
Oh my. I will help to bring interest towards your tavern. Now, if there is anything else...
No. Thank you. And Pups bows.
She sort of slowly sort of dips her head and looks at the other two, or the other three.
Phatts bows as low as he can possibly go.
I'm really tempted to do a roll to see how low you can go. But no, she understands it. You go like down to a knee and sort of low down. I think Baggi sort of like just nods her head. I think you don't agree with that.
All right. Yeah.
And she sort of lifts her head turned in. She just those eyes again hit you, or she.
Ursula Flockskin, who was he working for?
Ursula Floxin. He was a Zentarum agent.
A lot less to worry about now. Thank you so much for today. I really am so glad that we're able to create this partnership. And Oshi bows her head.
Indeed. She's sort of like, please. The light goes and sort of like closes around. The table disappears as the doors like open up as the servants return. So I've very quite much enjoyed our afternoon here. As you must understand, I am quite busy. If you could make your way out to the grand entrance, you shall be taken to the cart and be taken back to your homes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can Oshi
Thank
take
you,
us?
my lord.
Can Oshi take as much food and wine that's still left on the table as possible, please? He's part of the 18k team. Come on.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna let you fill up your entire needs of weight with food, wine, and everything else.
Oh, she's that guy on the all-inclusive holiday.
Fats is going to have no part in carrying any of that.
Okay, so you're full to the brim, I would say.
Pups takes 2 large loaves of bread and that's it.
I think Baggi just loads it up on the cannon. Just lets the cannon carry it.
Just puts a whole rack of ribs on the top of the cannon.
As you kind of leave through, it takes you a good 10 minutes of walking to get from the council chamber out through the various places of the palace. You see kind of the history of this palace itself, and that thought kicks in your head about rule, those that rule and those who are ruled, and status quo kicks through. And as you kind of make your way towards the kind of the driveway up, or the pathway up into the cart, here I think is Wiley in this way. Yeah, Oshi, can you do a history check for me?
Ten.
You remember you have now quite a few contacts in the journalists. And the word anonymous kicks through from what you thought about inside when you told about yourself being anonymous. And you remember her saying that the scandal of the children cannot come out because of the actions of you four. And that's all I'm going to give you at that. As you kind of get into the cart, and you're whisked back towards the north ward. Oh, Dan, did you have something you wanted to say?
I think whilst Gabs was walking around, Pups walks past the cart to the edge of the gates and breaks open the bread and hands it to people at the side.
Oh, thank you very much, Gab. He's like, oh, thank you very much, Governor. And he sort of takes the bread.
And then gets back in the cart.
As the cart
briefly walks onto the set of My Fair Lady and hands over.
Oh, nom 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 nom. As they eat the bread. As you jump into the cart, as you're whisked back across the city, as you actually go past the Cassalanters Institute for Unfortunate Children, and you can see that the close signs are already being placed upon the school itself. As you fly past the yawning portal, which looks as busy as it ever was, on your continued journey through up towards the North Ward. And I think there we're going to take a little break. So I hope you've enjoyed the first part. We'll be back in about 5 minutes time. So grab yourself a burr, grab yourself a gin or a cup of tea, and we'll return in a little while. If you are enjoying this and you are lurking in the background, I'm glad that you're lurking, and you don't have to engage with the chat or anything like that, but do give us a quick follow. It would be much appreciated, and we really do like it. But it also would be nice to hear from you, so if you do want to say hi on the chat, we have a lovely community here, as you've seen throughout, so do say hello. Is there anything else we want to say before we head off for a break? Wonderful. So we shall see you guys in a little while. Alrighty, okay, bye.
The three of us on water.
I'll be on the beer. Welcome back, everybody. I'm glad you got yourself a cup of tea, of water, a beer, or a gin, as Mama Thorpe would say. I'm glad that you're back. And yes, so we just had a quick conversation off stream, and I thought we'd bring it on to stream actually about how much 20,000 would kind of get you in terms of items. Now, I use this great actually I might pop it in the chat for everybody to see, thing called the Sane Magical Prices, which is a really great piece of material that people can use. So I'll just pop it in here now. It kind of like takes magical items and puts it into something that's a bit more realistic in terms of what things will cost. You guys are also available to get hold of that as well. I'm going to pop it into our own chat so you can see it. And I will also place it into our Discord channel as well, so if you do want to head over to the Discord channel, we'll see it there as well. But essentially 20,000, if you think of it in this way, a legendary item like the Holy Avenger we've just seen is about 165,000 gold pieces to buy it. Something like the necklace of fireballs, let's say, is about 6,000 gold pieces. So there is quite a range of things. For something like a vicious weapon, I think is around about 500, 600 gold pieces. So there's a bit of a shopping list of stuff that you can kind of look for there. So 160,000 gold pieces. If you imagine the Holy Avenger being able to go and buy one and pick one up and go, like buying a legendary item is 160,000. In terms of like what people would live in with Waterdeep, I mean, we spoke before with Big Phatts, and I think 100 gold pieces was about a month's worth of earnings usually. So when Big Phatts was speaking to Oshi earlier about how much have you actually earned and in your whole lifetime, 40,000 is not wouldn't even touch the sides yet in terms of how much money you could actually make. So it is a substantial amount of gold. The same way that there's no difference between 160,000 and 500,000. It's still a massive amount of money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really useful to know.
Yeah, so I would say as you've got 20 grand to play with, have a look on that list and see what things that you would like to purchase. We've also got, I think there's like animals and all sorts of stuff on there, so you can see how much horse is worth and stuff like this, which is quite good.
Nice.
No, not to sell. We're not selling the horse.
It's also worth to say that anything that's on there, usually selling it is about half as much as well.
Cool.
Depending if you can get a good deal. Gabby's like, no, I'm not selling my horse. Never. Was there any other questions regarding the deal that we've just had?
Go on, Gabs.
I had a question. Can I say it on stream?
Yeah.
Can we double cross the Open Lord? First of all, can we spill all the goods about the bad stuff the Cassalanters have been doing? And secondly, can we just continue playing the game but pretending we're doing it for the Open Lord?
Like, you play however you want to play, and I'll build it around you guys. Whatever you want to do.
My worry about the whole thing is that let's say we double cross the Open Lord.
The voice of reason kicks in from the side.
Let's say
Rob
we double
Thompson,
cross.
voice of reason.
I know.
The 90s have changed you.
I know. Yeah. If let's say we double cross successfully, we come away with 500,000 in coins. If we've double crossed the city of Waterdeep, how are we going to lug that much cash to whichever bank we'll end up having to store it in? Because we can't have that money on us. But by not double crossing, we could potentially stay in the place, be infinitely better off, and not have an entire city and its army out for our blood whilst we lug massive amounts of coin around the place.
I think that's just a problem to be solved, isn't it?
Yeah, and also for 500,000, are you trying to tell me that you can't hire a high-level mage to do some kind of like a druid to transport us through a tree somewhere instantaneously with all of our dollar?
Just got to add it into the heist plan, my friend. That's all you need
Yeah.
to do.
Add druid.
But
All right.
as Rob Thompson clearly points out, there will be consequences for those particular actions.
There will be, and I'm not a player that deals well with consequences.
I mean, I really like what Daz has put up on here, which is play the Robin Hood card and give it back to the people.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that
not
is
going to happen.
That's such a great idea. But there's so many different ways in which you can play it. I will literally just react to whatever it is you decide to do. I think that's the best way of putting it.
We're going to kill each other over this.
Probably.
Yeah.
There's going to be some PvP action.
Oh, you guys are going to kill each other way before that.
Yeah. We wanted to kill each other before money was involved.
Now there's shares. Thank you very much for leading us to this vault and finding out how we can get hold of all this money. Big facts. Thank you very much. Bang.
Yeah, gun. Oh, she needs a gun. That's what she's gonna buy, a gun.
I'm gonna get a reinforced face is what I'm going to get. And crotch after your intro as well.
Lovely. All right. So shall we continue?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you, after like a journey of say 30 minutes, 40 minutes in your cart, a very comfortable cart actually, you make your way towards Trollskull Alley. And once you sort of start making your way there, what you notice as you're pulling up is it seems as if the scaffolding is all down outside of the manor itself. You can't hear the banging and crashing as you step out of the cart. And your door is this beautiful solid oak door, and there is a sign that is hanging out the front that just says Dragon's Den. As I think, Oshi, you're the first to step out and see it. So what does the outside look like?
It has a porch. And there are dragons, like at the points of the porch, and then it's all like lines, or like there's lots of gold detail on it. So there's been a lot of gold paint used.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a members bar. It's a nice place, and it's got
those tails that are going around the columns. Yeah. Down towards the bottoms of the banisters. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and it's got like it's got 3 different doorbells that each like have a different note, and you have to ring the bell in a specific tune of notes to be able to get in. Like that when you get your membership. When you get your membership, you learn the notes.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
So that's the default, but of course you can set it however you want.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the tune that you were singing earlier.
Or I think Baggi can just can re-engineer to boom, 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 boom.
yeah, that's the notes done. Okay,
Yeah.
so so it's sort of like gold, and what other colours are involved? So you said gold. Was there any other colours like reds, greens, blues, anything like that?
Yeah, on the porch, like greens and golds.
Nice. As I think there's sort of like slight, not seating areas, but there's almost like waiting queue areas on the porch as well that allows for people to be able to kind of wait and relax whilst they're waiting for gaining entrance as well, maybe something like that. Big Phatts, you kind of step out next, and the door itself, what does the door look like?
The door is a deep mahogany color, with engravings of a large dragon's head as there's a knocker. Although there's a bell, there's also a kind of big knocker on the front of a dragon protruding from it, and then there's engraved wood in the actual door itself of the dragon's neck and body sitting on like a large hoard of gold, which falls all the way down to a golden handle to make it look like a particular jewel in this dragon's hoard. There is a post box with a beautifully engraved piece of cursive writing that just says "No junk mail." And there's even a sweet aroma of kind of sweet tobacco somehow scented into the wood. That, you know, the way when you walk into fancy establishments, you realize that it's not that everywhere smells shit. It's just that this place smells good. Like no other establishments like spray shit in their venues, but some of them, the really high end ones, do. They'll have like diffusers that's like, it's like black tea or like, you know, those kind of things that you're like, fucking hell, it smells good in here. That is already protruding from the wood itself.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with that. And as you sort of like, actually I'll do that in a second. Pups, you sort of step out, and what detail has the rest of them missed from the front of the building?
It's really subtle. You have to really, really look for it. But on various points, on some of the sides of the dragons, into the carving of the door, very much that sort of one of those things where you don't spot it initially, but the more you stare, you see that they're just placed in various points intricately into the design. There are 4 black stars.
Yes, that's a great detail. As you all walk towards the front door, and this dragon's head goes,
What is the song?
What the fuck is this? Y'all know a song? There was a little man dancing on
Access
side of the road.
denied.
Fucking hell. I know this is a new door, but I'm about to kick it down.
What is the song?
as you see the three bells, like the 3 doorbells.
Oh, then I think Pups goes up and just and like pulls out, just gets the staff out. It probably can't reach them themselves, but like brings up to the bell and goes, boom, boom, boom.
Welcome to the Dragon's Den.
As the encrusted red jeweled doorknob like turns on its own, and the door opens out inwards. As you enter in, the first thing that you notice is light from all of the candles that are lit. All the candelabras are all lit around the space. And there is a small gnome on the ground. He's got a fag sticking out of his mouth. And he's like sweeping up the last bits. And he's just there like whispering, la 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 la. Stubs it out in the spade that he swept up.
Just finishing up. Sorry.
He sweeps it up and sort of like sneaks back towards the kitchen.
Before he goes,
What brand of tobacco are you smoking?
There was loads turned up out the back, so I just took a pinch.
As long as it's mine, that's okay.
Oh, mate, it's beautiful.
And he sort of just coughs up his loogie at the side.
Good. Good.
as he kind of comes out and goes around towards the kitchen. Okay, so the layout. I'm just going to describe the layout and you're going to describe the details. Okay, so as you come through the front door, there is almost like a wall about 15 feet away from you that then leads off towards the left, that leads towards the kind of the main area of the bar. So let's talk about what's in that first section as you kind of come in.
So sorry, so we walked in the door. There's a space to the left.
Yeah, there's like a wall. You come through the door. There's a wall 15 feet away, and then as you go left, it then goes into the main space. It's almost like a reception area or like a foyer of a restaurant. So what does that kind of look like?
Who wants to take it?
I think, you know, in the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where they had the hands like on the walls that would like grab people's hats and like and coats and things like that.
Yes.
I think it's that, but I think it's like dragon talons that are like out like this.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So you kind of walk forward, Pups, and you take your cloak off and you hang it and it goes and he just pinches it.
Yeah.
And hangs it off the wall. There's this wall covered in all of these dragon talons.
I think underneath the wood has been carved to make it look like scales, to make it essentially look not unlike the background of this Twitch stream.
Great.
It's almost like you're going down you're almost like going through two dragons' necks side by side through this corridor.
What's the colour of the carpet? Is there carpet? What's the floor like?
Yeah, I think here there's a carpet, and it's one of those. I think if you were to really look at it, if you were to get the candles right close to it, you would see there's a ever so slight touch of color to it. Like there's like a slight like burgundy to it, but from above, it almost seems like jet black. And it's like this sort of very velvety. Even if it just goes the length of the reception, like it's as soon as you walk in, you step on it, you're like, oh, that's nice. Oh yeah.
So you sort of like follow the jet black tongue, that's what I'm going to call it, on the ground.
Yeah.
As you kind of come through into the main space, you can see, as you come in, there's a fireplace that sits fairly central to the space. Also underneath, you can also see there's like a almost as like a door that would lead to underneath Pups' bedroom, that circular area. And you can also see where the bar is, which is the same place the bar is always placed, which is to the north of the space. So he wants to sort of like talk about an area in this bar. Let's maybe talk about the main space. What does the main space kind of look like?
Go on, Gabs.
So as you go in, there are wrought iron, quite heavy. They kind of look like chandeliers, but and there is small glinting light in it, but it's all like maybe they'd be fireflies or something.
Oh yeah.
And they have their own little perches that they sit on, so it's quite dark, and it's all like dark wood, and it's and it has that lovely woody smell that I think Dan or Rob was talking about before, and there's like a carpeted bit down the middle, and that's edged in gold, and there are some like small kind of cabaret style tables and chairs, and then as you walk along the main strip of carpet, they lead off to different booths, and then there's a bar, and there's the bar, and then there's a gold metal bit that runs along where you might lean, and then there's a metal bit along the bottom where you might put your feet, and then there's hooks for people to put, well, there's dragon claws,
little claws,
people to put like bags and coats and stuff.
I like that a lot. And so the bar top is that same deep mahogany colour of the door, I think, that Phatts was talking about. So these fireflies, so they sort of like hover around the tables as well, sort of giving the tables light.
Yeah, in the booths, yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really like that. Is there Is there a special place other than this where this door is that leads off underneath Pups' bedroom? Is there another sort of special area in this main space?
I'd say there are the booths. As you get further into the room, they get more decadent and more private.
Ah, cool. So like, as you almost like your membership allowed, like the closer you're in, the more that you can become more seedy in those sort of private booths.
Yeah.
All right. So is there towards the back then? Let's go to that, and I'm going to switch over to Rob. So right at the back, there's this like an area which is seen as a little bit more decadent than everywhere else. Maybe it's just sort of behind the fireplace, which is in the center of the room, towards the back corner. Can you describe what that VIP kind of area looks like?
The VIP area has a mixture of there's a choice in where to sit. There's either these beautiful armchairs with this taut leather studded into place with these kind of gleaming gold studs along its beautifully carved frame, or there's a kind of like not bench, there's like circular seating place, booths kind of style to the whole thing. That where like the leather is slightly cold to the touch, but being so near the fire, you have this lovely juxtaposition of feeling cold and warm, which settles you in just a perfect temperature of tranquility. The table itself in front of you is impossibly shiny. A varnish which has been sourced from the ectoplasm of ghosts long past, freshly swept from the graveyards of the greatest that have walked this earth, and has now been used and boiled down to varnish the sleek mahogany table.
I think just
the
adding
light in there is
just adding to that. I think when you actually sit upon the table, what you see is the great stories of those heroes, like played out on the table.
Gorgeous, Joe.
As you see their great battles and their great exploits on the table.
You also there's a strange feeling upon sitting down, some sort of a charm that has been placed on it there, that when you sit with people, you find that you enjoy them more, their presence. You find their jokes funnier. They too find yours funnier. You find that as you hold a gaze with somebody, you fall deeper into their eyes as feelings of love and appreciation. You could sit there by yourself and talk to yourself, and voices would come up being like, "That was a great joke, Joe. Well done. You're a wonderful person." And you just sit there being like, "This is class." Where time seems to pass so quickly, and yet no time has passed. Yeah, and I do also, I have something that I want to be in a certain place, but when we get to it, I can speak about it.
Okay.
When we get to the bar, that's where I want to speak about one thing in particular.
Okay.
Well, two things in particular.
All right, well, we'll go to the bar now then, if you want to add something to that, and then we can pass over to Dan as well to talk about the bar.
It's more of behind the bar, so we've discussed the little hooks and the railing and stuff, but about like kind of chest height along the back wall, although there will be some fancy bottles of booze and things like that, there is a long section which has a kind of glass cabinet with all of these gorgeous cigars, pre-rolled and laid out in a is it a humidifier that they're in, cigars, or is that the opposite? Is it the non-humidifier?
Probably a humidifier.
But just keeping
stop it from drying out.
Keeping them in a good state.
Keep them in a good state, prime,
Okay.
crisp. A couple
How
of
about-
those other?
How about
Yeah.
if it's like a time stop capsule? So it's like a cabinet
No.
where like time stop spell has been placed upon it. So these cigars that are sat in there have never age. They they age incredibly slowly. So they sit in there.
As well as those, there are a couple of those fireflies that were circling a few of the tables. They are also trapped in this time area. So when the cabinet is opened, they all fly out to create a kind of like a magical essence to the whole thing. But written above the bar, this is what I quickly wrote this up quickly, is a small poem, which says, "What the dragon has once lost, they will surely find again. For all the gold in all the world will find the dragon's den."
And I think that's lovely, and I think that's in like frosted glass on the mirrored glass of the back of the bar, or in like, and then it's like gold, like circled with gold, so you can kind of read it through. But the actual bar itself, Dan, I mean, we've spoken about the hooks, but we haven't had about the bar tops or what's on the bars or anything like that, or the stools. So what does that kind of area look like?
So I'd say it kind of there's almost a bit of a like apothecary sort of nature to it. It's almost a bit potion-y and a bit mysterious. You've got the those like protected aisles that you see out and about in London, the sort of like deep bluey green. I would imagine that's going to be like the coloration of the bar, and then the back bar and everything across. There's a multitude of different whiskies and gins, and we've also, and then there's a couple of not giant like that we saw in that place in the which ward was it with the halfling. That sort of giant barrel, just some smaller casks, the field ward, that's the one. And then there's one central section on the back bar. I think it might even be in the O of the Dragon's Den in the frosted glass, where there's this stone, this sort of like circling green stone.
Yeah.
And Pups looks up and goes, What's that for? Liv, what's that for? And like 3 glasses lift up off the bar and go to shatter against the wall, and the stone sort of like warps around. There's like a green shimmer, just goes, and they just come back slowly to the bar.
I was thinking, instead of the 3 glasses, a floating tuxedo picks up 3 glasses.
Just the waistcoat.
Yeah.
But as you go towards your hands like this to grab hold of the glasses, your hand kind of comes across the top of that bluey bar, and like it changes until you see a menu in front of you, like in this ethereal blue light. So you can kind of read through everything, and then you flip it over with your hand and it spins on top of the bar, and then there's a full cigar range across the back. But you kind of like flip it over and you look up towards Liv, and you see in the mirror the door in the corner. As you all kind of walk over towards the corner, you can see on the top it just has, as you say, these 4 black stars on the door itself. It's a fairly simple door, but it feels much more decadent because it's so simple within this decadence. As you see underneath the 4 stars, it just says private. You see on the door handle, it's a very simple gold metal doorknob, and you just turn it, and Pups, you're the first in. As you see the windows around you, the 3 windows that you know the space because above you is your room. And there's a large table in the centre, and there are 4 chairs. Can you describe the private space of the Black Star 4?
The private space has been there's a color scheme that matches us. There's like there's like gold elements for Phatts, and there's like what word am I thinking of? I wanted to say lilac, but it's not lilac. There's like like blue, like Oshi's dress. There's some green and greys for Pups and Baggi, and it's a very open space. Like it's something where if you want to sort of like be what was the word that you put to it, Joe? If you want some sort of illegal doings, you do it in this like little section that we've already described. But this space is more of a circular area. There's a hearth in the middle that sort of that gives light and also both warmth to it. There's a dragon throughout the center. It goes all the way around and almost meets itself, sort of Ouroboros style. That ends up right at the very center, up one end of the room, and there are 4 chairs. One of which is a little taller, one of which is a little bit more reinforced, but they're all high-backed chairs.
And one of which was just
and they're all engraved with the names of the owners of this bar. Actually, there are 5.
A little one, a little chair.
A little one.
Yeah.
A little one, and on second look, there is definitely some reds and some crimsons into the edges, possibly around onto like the fringe of the dragon.
Yeah. One of those chairs is currently turned away from the table, but inside the center of this big table, you find that you can do this with your hand and see and hear from the different fireflies inside of the bar. So you're able to listen to different conversations as you flick through and hear all of these different. One of which you flick to and it's silent, and it's just like a still image of a cigar. Sort of like you flick through to another one.
Gotta keep an eye on that one.
And it's like this chair sort of begins to turn.
We've got Scry TV.
And it's sort of like this little chair turns around.
Scry TV.
And this little kobold goes,
So, what do you think of my bar?
this little Rick sort of giggles and sort of like, and you can clearly see that he's getting so excited that he keeps trying to splurt out all of the details that you've already said, but he's continually breathing inwards, so he just can't. And he's sort of like getting really, really, really excited about everything that he can see, and he grabs hold of your hand, Oshi, and like runs you to the bar. Where you see, and he just showed you the drinks menu thing of like turning the menu over, and on it you see a list of different things. So you see that there's Black Star Gin, you can see that there is the Fallen Soldier beer, or Fallen Soldier Pale Ale, as I'm going to call it. I'm just going to say it, I'm incredibly proud of my mum, because she's put on a Tiamat tequila and the Smaug whiskey and the Fanfare brandy and Vivir on vermouth, and I'm just like completely nerding out, and I'm so nerding out here, and I just absolutely love it. And he points down to this cocktail called the Little Ricks, which is made with fire whiskey, and it's a bottle that sits within like almost like a cooling bottle, very similar to what you've seen in your imaginations before, which holds this kind of whiskey that cannot be held by any glass. It has to be held within stone. And then you see on the taps there is a beer on there, which is called the Double Bock beer. And I think Big Phatts, you pour yourself a version of it, and you all recognise it straight away, as it's a reminder of the beers that Tunk used to drink back at Le Chat Maison. It has this hard, solid head, and you're presented with a small silver hammer in which you can tap the top as the head folds in and fizzes down into the bottom. And that's kind of like what we see, but are there any other drinks or any drinks or beers that you guys would like to add in to this place? I'm so proud of Mama Thorpe right now. Tiamat tequila. I'm just like, yes, Mama Thorpe.
That's incredible. I think there's definitely a little tap down to the side, and there's a bottle at the back that the Baggi's eyeing up, and possibly might not say anything about today, but might have something to say about it in the future.
Yeah, I think I missed a detail that Stuart has brought up, which is you don't get a silver hammer, you get a silver club. And I think hanging in the back is a tankard. And it just says Tunks on it, and that hangs in the centre of the bar itself. Anything else we want to kind of add in to this area?
There's a private tap in the back that Phatts noticed, which is not for public distribution, but it's got a black label on it. It's got a golden harp. When you pour it seems almost the color of obsidian, and yet strangely a pearly white head seems to rise from the ashes of the liquid itself and settle in almost 2 fingers height on top. And it just says, it's one word. It says Guinness. Guinness is what it says.
Guinness motor oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, pint of diesel.
Yeah. So Dad's just put Boddingtons on this. Oh, it's so good. Excuse me.
That band's term.
And also there is a bottle on there which is Lolo Back's Troll Skull whiskey as well, which to actually be brewed from it's a whiskey that is made from the brew house in Troll Skull Alley. In Black Star Lane, my apologies. It's a whiskey made from the beer of Lolo's brew house. So that's also here.
And I think there is a vodka which Oshi asked
Carla.
Yeah, I was going to say she didn't need to remember the manager. Asked Carla to find it. She didn't know she'd be able to. And it's called Blowgun Vodka. And it's what her dad would always bring back. And it has like almost an aniseedy smell. And it really reminds her of her dad. And she was like, yeah, bet you can't find this. It was almost a test. And there's like a whole row of, there's one at the front and then there's like 6 bottles behind.
Yeah, man. This is from, it's from Mirabar. It's a dwarven vodka. And it perpetually feels cold.
Yeah.
You could put it next to the fire and pour it out and it would still feel cold.
Oh, God.
I'm
gagging for a drink now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know, same.
If I could add one more thing.
Yeah, mate, you can add as many. This is your pub. This is your bar.
Amazing.
Like, you guys can keep adding.
Firstly, I want to say thank you very much to the community for raising all this. Like, I really didn't think we were going to get there, and all of a sudden, like a couple of sessions, there were so many large donations. So thank you for that. And I think whilst Pups is taking it in, he looks out the front window back to the front and sees there's those pillars with the ropes for people on entrance, and these bits of ropes are braided, except one side they're not the same. they're asymmetric, and he sort of sits there and studies it and tries to figure out why they're different. And it suddenly dawns on him that one side of it is a repeated Killick knot, and the other side is a repeated Arbor knock. He's like, that fucking guy follows us everywhere.
And you just literally, you hear like the clanging and crashing in the kitchen. As you kind of look forward and you hear the voice of Carla, the 16-year-old general manager of the Dragon's
She's
Den.
going places.
And you just hear her shout, "You call that a souffle?" Take your spatula and fuck off. And you see this the chef hat, like Chef White's sort of coming out, and he's like picks up his knives and walks out and looks towards you and goes, "I'm so sorry," and then walks out and leaves. As she kind of comes out, "Oh, I didn't realise you came home. The works are complete."
You replace the spatulas?
The kitchen is now a commercial kitchen.
So it's clean.
Yes, fully
Good.
stocked. That was a cook that just left. And she
Not a chef.
She says the word cook with a certain way that sounds like dog shit. And
It's not how I thought that was going to go, but I'm so glad it did.
I'm currently looking for a chef. However, I'd like to see what your thoughts. We did some research and took some liberties here and there, but I do hope that it fits with your expectations, or at least exceeds them.
This is amazing. I'm used to going into other people's houses and being impressed and thinking, wow, my house is never going to be like this. But now my house is like this. This is amazing.
She's sort of you can see that she's starting to well up a bit. The last few weeks have been particularly difficult, Carla. As she runs forward and she just grabs hold of you and hugs you, and just the tears run through her face as she is finally able to release the stress. She just comes back up. I'm sorry, that was really unprofessional.
It's okay. It's been a long 2 weeks for you.
So, Mr. Phatts and Oshi, is this acceptable?
Phatts outstretches his hand.
And she just takes the hand and shakes it. She understands.
You done a good job. A real good job.
Have you seen the time capsules for the time stop spell capsules for the cigars?
A real good job.
Thank you. And she looks at you, Oshi, and not expecting anything from you.
Oh, I don't know what you're allowed to do when you're 16. Can you stay for a drink?
And she kind of pulls out a tip flask that she has. So I've been using it a little bit of a crutch recently, as it's been quite tough.
Oh, well, a cigarette then?
Please.
And she passes her a cigarette and she says,
You ain't having none of that shit.
And Phatts walks over to the humidor. Time.
as you kind of like she sit, and as you sit at the bar, you light the cigars. And all of you have a cigar, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh, she
Yeah.
doesn't.
No, she doesn't. She has a cigarette.
Phatts actually offers her one.
She
And
takes
goes,
it, but she doesn't smoke
Save you
it.
from stealing them.
But there is also cigarettes that are also available at the bar, which are also made from blends that they're called Ricks. Ricks cigarettes.
Smoking Ricks.
Smoking
Cigarettes.
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 Yeah, they're called cigarettes, and they are delightful. They're in fact, they're almost like they're made for you. Most other people would probably, like is it goulash? What's those French cigarettes?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing of like, these are definitely made for Oshi. As you sit, and as you kind of your hand kind of, the ash begins to form on the cigarette. An ashtray forms out of the bar, and like this ethereal ashtray kind of comes out and allows you to tip in as it sort of swallows it into the ethereal realm and then appears again. You have a fucking kick-ass place, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
As Carla then sort of like in mid-smoke sort of says to you, so the opening, you've perpetually said 2 weeks for the last 3 weeks.